I'm John Billingsley, and you are listening to Beyond Track podcast.
What are some thoughts of yours towards the whole, is Star Trek getting too woke?
The idea that a show that exists to push the boundaries in terms of what is acceptable and what it should be like just part of our human condition, which is, everybody on the fucking ship, as long as you're nice. To me, it's like you can't be too woke.
A red alert.
And I still don't remember
this
it.
episode. This is such a good choice for this.
Yeah,
No,
full
it really is.
disclosure, I honestly don't remember anything. I know this is like a meme from Trek, but I think I fell asleep or must have fallen asleep when I was watching this in college.
Perfect.
So
That's probably going to be a good cold open for this episode. Hey, everybody, this is Dag.
Okay.
Coming at you not live for Beyond Trek podcast. With me in the room, I've got some people, and y'all can figure out what order you want to introduce
I'm
yourselves.
Watney. Hi.
The Canadian's just going to give it up forever.
Fine, it's Renzo. I'm here as well to add some color commentary.
And I am not Renzo, or Dag, or Watney. I'm Aaron, and yes, I'm Canadian. I'm sorry. It's a thing.
There you go.
Already apologize. Exactly. The trope, man. All right, so this is Rifftreks. We're doing the episode Darmok. If you've never done a Rifftrek with us before, it's a lot like Rifftreks. If you've never done a Rifftreks before, basically, in a few seconds, we're going to count down from 3, 2, 1, and then we're all going to start an episode. It's the episode of Darmok, TNG, Season 5, Episode 2. One of the most memed episodes of Star Trek's history. And you can count down with us, cue the episode up yourself, and play it and listen along to however funny or not funny. This could just be an hour of silence for all we know.
Oh, don't tempt me with it.
For the record, for those who don't know offhand, it is Season 5, Episode 2 of TNG, Next Generation.
Yes, it is. And
You can find it on Netflix, Paramount Plus, a million other places. Star Trek's everywhere for streaming.
And guess what? It's 45 minutes and 45 seconds long.
you have an extra
And
10 seconds on yours?
It starts out with the image of the ship. Or do we just want to get into it?
I figured we'd just do the countdown after we told people where to find the episode.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
Whatever, more detail the
And
better.
yet we're still talking.
Yeah. I mean, the four of us don't get to hang out often.
That's true.
Also, listeners, I hope you know what Aaron just said. That's what you signed up for. You're going to listen to us talk. So,
Yeah.
For probably almost an hour. So, if you didn't sign up for that, bye. We'll see you later.
I mean, yeah,
Back
no,
another
you
can
time.
Hold it against you.
Just
no
skip-
hard
Find us on
feelings.
Instagram. I don't know.
Just skip to the end, and you can find us and yell at us on Twitter. All right, I'm going to count down. I'm at 0, mark 0. I'm watching this on Amazon. And
Netflix.
3, 2, 1, go.
Exterior shot of the ship, as promised.
I just like that it starts with a good captain's log.
There's something comforting about episodic Star Trek, is there not?
Mm-hmm.
Warm embrace. It's the jacket.
Back when it had the that pleather yoke.
So
basic-
a message being beamed for 3 weeks, that's like the Star Trek equivalent of letting it ring a few times before you pick it up.
Well, they're sending just numbers, right? So it's like that scene in Contact where Jodie Foster's like bing, 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 and then you figure out it's a mathematical progression, right? Same
Somebody
thing.
just, if they want to communicate with these guys, they need to bust out the Casio keyboard, just do the triple tone.
Incomprehensible.
Data's hair looks like puffier than usual.
There's Worf. Obligatory. Well, they might be trying to attack us, Captain.
No.
Maybe we should smoke
No. No. Mr. Worf.
And we tell Mr. Wolf no.
As usual, smack away any ideas from Worf.
them.
Smacking it.
Can we get a Worf told no counter?
Ding.
Ooh. Oh, it's good to see the captain's carrying his standard issue Chekhov's gun.
He's
Communication
so naive
is
going
a
into it too.
standard
It's
of
delightful.
patience. Can you imagine people believing that today on the internet?
see
Hey,
Data's
communication's
face?
about patience.
Like, Data's face right there's just like, what the? Look at him. He's just...
Even Troy is like, I have no insight here, sir.
You got to think about what the Temerians are thinking right now.
But I love this. Like he's like talking with his hands. Like it's like it's like a tourist like in a foreign country that only speaks English, and like just trying to get the point across. Just like get the knife hands out.
Can you imagine
When
how
you're
the Temerians think about this? Where like the Temerians are like, "Yo, two people at a crossroads. It's got a dark sky. How does this turn out?" Yo, people, do you get me? Two people, crossroads. Come on.
Mutual non-aggression pact. I don't know her.
First contact and asking for mutual non-aggression. That seems aggressive.
Yeah. Right. The first officer's like, he's laughing at them. He's just like, these guys are idiots. We want to talk to these people? River Tamok in winter. Shut up.
Who's Winter?
Number one. Impressions number one. That's a good title for something.
I really like the bridge design. We tried Ryan Jerry at Lunga. It didn't work. So let's do Darmok. Wow.
Plus
That's
Tamok.
expressing authority there, Tamok.
Yeah. The River Tamok. Oh,
I love
mistake.
this.
My mistake, Captain.
I love this because they're basically bantering about approaches. Do we do Ryan Jerry at Lunga? Do we do Darmok and Gelada Tanagra? And
Rob with Sails Unfurled and leave.
yeah, exactly. The first officer's like, let's bail, and with the river to Mark, he's like, knock it off, stop, we're done here.
Yeah. But he's already gone, Riker.
Their transporter is really cool looking though.
I like that effect.
In beta canon, it's established that their engineering and scientific language is purely mathematical and musical, and that's how they communicate each other, and that's how they can create such marvelous technological wonders.
I mean, they show that the Children of Tama, or the Temerians, whatever you want to call them in this episode, are very much like a Federation near peer tech-wise, even if they may not be as big as the Federation, which is a good plot head start.
Wow, a dual wielding.
It's
YMCA. YMCA. See, Picard just needs to do this.
Waiting for Picard to do
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Like,
That's how we get here. I recently talked to Mike Okuda about this
We're
opener.
not skipping the intro, correct?
No.
Okay.
But I talked to
Skip.
Oh, please.
I talked to Mike Okuda about the intro there, and that last moment there, that's supposed to be like a protoplanetary cluster. I thought it was really cool, because a lot of people just look at it and they see a galaxy.
I like how they beamed them to like just the random rock cliff
Yeah.
reed clearing. Like,
Picard's like, why did you beam me to
nearby.
just outside Los Angeles?
yeah,
That-
like
Oh, is this at the Valdez Rocks or the Vasquez Rocks?
I don't
no,
think
it's
so.
Not. It's definitely
Okay.
not. It's like some cliff face, just random.
You know, I really love the Enterprise D, but man, what a huge target.
Yeah, the toilet,
You
toilet,
just-
toilet lid.
No, I always thought
Renzo.
in profile, and that she, especially
that,
when
Drew.
the saucers separated, she looks like a Christmas goose.
Listen, it's not a warship, right? It's not meant to be shot at. It's supposed to like impress you with its majesty and glory and make peace with you.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I get it. It's a flying
No.
apartment building.
It's a flying UN building.
Yeah.
Yeah. that gets shot at a lot.
Well, I mean, it's got shields and it's got great weapon
Yeah.
systems, right? Like the thing kicks ass when it needs to.
I mean, Worf says it best when
it kick ass,
relieved
or
of its
does it
bulk, the Enterprise
kick
makes a formidable
ass?
weapon.
Because it's shaped like a toilet lid.
Okay, I mean, so there are
It's
definitely
ass.
ass metaphors to be made.
Flush.
Shaka, when the walls fail.
It looks so like it's like how like
I love her.
dinosaurs look in like childhood books to me, like cartoony. Like I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't look
It looks
nice.
predatory in that shot, like on purpose. It's meant to look kind of menacing and like looming over the Enterprise, but it's kind of a psych out.
So
Kinda
that
like
was
the,
filmed
the-
on location in Bronson Canyon.
So, is the creature that they're fighting then Charles Bronson with a personal cloaking device?
Can somebody check on that?
Old man Bronson.
Worf totally gets it, though. It's a contest of champions. That's exactly what Darmok and Jalad is. A contest between two champions over a triumph. Maybe not necessarily against each other, which might be where Worf is leaning, but, you know.
Yeah.
I
No,
think that
Worf.
I think what they're trying to get is two people who don't agree are forced to survive together, and that gets them to be on the same page, right? I think that's kind of what Darmok and Jalad Tanagra are supposed to be. Two foes or two opposites work together to survive together.
Kind of, sort of. I don't know how how much animosity was between the two of them, but, you know, we learned that, you know, Darmok, or, they were on the ocean alone.
The way that I've kind of looked at it is they went to Tanagra separately. I think they both went there for the same reason. They were both great heroes and they were seeking glory to slay the beast of Tanagra, but both found in turn that they couldn't do it by themselves. And so whatever, you know, maybe they ran across each other and didn't get along, but at the end, the only way that they could overcome the challenge was to work together. So that's...
Yeah. I mean, it's like trying to say the Montagues and Capulets at odds, right? Like, they're at odds and then they've got a reason to work together.
Gilgamesh and Enkidu at Iruk.
I think that's basically the first officer telling them, we're not going to let you communicate with the people on the surface. Just let this happen.
I think it was supposed to be patience, like wait.
Yeah.
Chenza at court, the court of silence, is not listening, according to Memory Alpha. Like, they can't hear. They don't understand. Or we're not listening to you.
Or they, you know, they can't hear you on the surface, maybe. I don't know. Oh, this is the worst part of, like, Cub Scouts. It's like...
No, this is perfect if it's an STA episode, because the captain clearly did not have a focus in survival.
Clearly not. But that, I just think, like, it's admirable that
You're
he managed
so
to even...
close.
Yeah, but he's a quitter.
You're sad, dude. That's what he said.
It's not even that. It's not that cold,
Go
dude.
over there.
You can't even see your
and
breath.
You're the
sit down
Canadian.
with
You're not
them.
affected by cold.
No, not at all. I like the
Go over
cold.
there and sit with them.
Gelatin de Quiteo.
Ugh. He's so, like, god damn it.
That dramatic music. The scoring for these episodes was so good.
Yeah. Can you imagine going 30 seconds without dialogue in a contemporary show that is, you know, very continuity based?
And the show, or and the character isn't crying while there's silence.
He brought toys. That's great.
He's just, he's
Picard, don't you wear your Rubik's Cube everywhere?
he's playing a single player TTRPG there, and he's lamenting because he rolled a critical failure and now his character is dead.
So these are like military awards, maybe? Maybe they represent his history.
It could be. It almost seems like he's using it as like a kind of award, perhaps against like bad luck or something like that. So there could be some
his body
greater cultural, even religious significance to them.
Yeah, I mean we have to assume that they knew that the energy beast was on this planet, so
Yeah,
because that's why they brought down the daggers.
Yeah.
And we never hear what this energy beast is ever again. I always thought it was like a shadow triceratops.
But you have the jacket, Captain.
And he's got a sweater underneath it. Like, bro, this is like where I come from. There's snow on the ground. We're still in shorts.
Canada, it's expected.
Canada.
They don't have a polar bear club in Canada. They just go swimming.
No, but we do have actual polar bears.
It's true. Run. Like, you don't survive polar bears.
I'm just waiting for all the scrubland to just go up while Picard's trying to figure out what he means by throwing the burning stick over there.
You see, like, the National Park Service just roll up right now and put out those fires and be like, what are you trying to do? It's a dry spell.
One park ranger doesn't walk on with a fire extinguisher, just...
Only you can prevent forest fires.
You guys have been told about this. Oh my god, it's Smokey Bear with a personal cloaking device. That's... he smelled the smoke. That's it. It's on.
The real predator.
Smokey Bear does not screw around. If you won't prevent the forest fires, then I will.
I do want to know, though, like, how far along the Temerian crew is at figuring out Federation language at that point, right? Like, they must have been trying to understand it as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's the lane. There's the lane. I want to see
wood,
him.
Riker. Need to rest your back.
I want to see it just. You should just be like holding a steaming hot cup of Folgers and just play the jingle.
Turns out the Enterprise requires you to order a cup of Earl Grey tea every 12 hours or the ship explodes.
Yeah.
And with Picard offline.
Security function.
Yeah. Riker is just unnecessarily braggadocious in this episode. Like, just so prickly.
Happens a couple times in this season, actually. Like with Chain of Command as well. It also happened.
Yeah, like Riker almost gets like he's offended that these aliens would try to interfere with them in any way. Like he's indignant about it.
You can always tell that Riker's having a bad day because his hair is like down over his face, not up and nice.
Or he could be a hologram of it.
I mean, that was a precise, effective shot from the Temerians.
I mean, that's a Federation, that's a Starfleet-like maneuver. It's like fire to disable their engines. We don't want them to, get anywhere near them, but we also don't want them hurt.
Bridge crew.
And they're using phasers, which we don't see very often at all.
Yeah.
Well, and Riker just comments on that right now. Nice shooting, he says. Worf still remembers that time that Picard beat him at arm wrestling on 10 Forward that one time. He's like, "Yup, he's a warrior."
Or that time that, Captain Picard, the, formidable warrior, got his ass kicked so hard by a Klingon assassin that he needed an old woman to
Fight
get the
for
job
him.
done.
Yeah. That was like 2.5 years ago. It's fine.
Gesundheit.
'Cause that was Sins of the Father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's over here like, I'm never going to diss a Federation bed ever again.
His apartment on the Enterprise is quite nice. It's very spacious. It's certainly bigger than mine.
I have a thing about dissing Federation beds because they're like 4 inches of memory foam with a lame blanket and a pillow that looks like a brick with a sheet over it.
Right? This is
They
the
got it
post
from IKEA, man.
This is the post scarcity economy.
Space IKEA.
This
Instead
is your
of
future
everybody
of
having
communism.
Wow, you look remarkably ironed for
It's
sleeping
the
on
material. It's
fucking
velvet.
ground.
it's Federation
Look.
memory fabric. You don't need to iron it. You just
Those Chelsea
You look
boots,
like
though,
a
man.
newborn baby.
also is just a remarkable absence of any like 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, no. There's not even a twig on his
Yeah.
uniform. There's
He's
not a twig on
just-
his uniform! Look at that! That was a whole pan of it! There's nothing.
Keep Picard into
My
agree.
immersion's
Knocked all
gone.
them
My
off.
immersion's gone.
busted.
Bye,
Cold.
out the door.
Cold busted.
Hey, when they invented dust repellent paper in the early 22nd century, they just invented dust
Okay.
repellent clothing.
Sure. They could have just like thrown some hay at him, literally, and it would have been more believable. The whole point is that he's in some rugged environment. Like,
All I'm saying is Kirk's shirt would have been completely torn off by now.
Wavelength. I was right there with you.
what'd you say, sorry?
Grid
I was reading
knack.
my subtitles.
I said Kirk would have had his shirt torn completely off at this point in the episode.
I mean, this isn't
And
all
it
that different from the encounter with the Gorn, remember? Right? Like, they don't understand each other. They're trying to. They might be able to communicate, but they don't even bother trying in the last one.
Yeah.
The creature came inside out and exploded.
Exploded.
And it
Did you
exploded.
say exploded? Love that movie. Oh my god.
You have a last name, Captain.
So, here's an interesting thing: is the computer seems to have a database of these things,
Yeah. Just a
and they match them up to the Temerian's home world. So, how does the computer know more? How does the computer have an index of these things?
well, and also how did the captain of the ship to actually make first contact, did he not have access to this? Although they said it was that they've encountered them over 100 years, so maybe not. It's conceivable that he didn't, but
You know, it's very interesting, like, what Troy is saying here. Like, when you're meeting a new species, like, first contact, right? What are all, like, the little nuanced protocols that Starfleet has? You have to have a neutral expression. You can't even be smiling.
Remember
you have
Archer?
to have neutral body. Yeah, neutral
Janeway
body.
even fucked this up in one episode. Remember she put her
Yeah.
hands on her hips or something, and Neelix had to like do a
Yeah.
dance to apologize for it or something.
And there was the Enterprise episode where Archer was like eating in front of people, and they considered that
Oh,
a
yeah,
gross violation.
Yeah.
And Porthos peed on a plant. Oh god, the offense.
See, right there, Chantil 3. She points it out. Tanagra,
so Tanagra and Darmok are both from the planet Chantil 3.
right.
But
How does the computer
If they-
know these things?
is
About a culture that we have the Federation is
Well,
just now meeting.
we don't know if that's actually a story from the Temerians.
Yeah,
that might have been
'cause
from
I
a third
think-
party.
because generally, like, if
Do you think they saw some historical records?
yeah, it could be something that perhaps a Temerian archaeological expedition found these ruins, learned the story, and incorporated it into their
That kind of dilutes the entire cultural importance of that to me. Honestly.
We don't know how old the Temerian culture is, right? The Temerian culture may have had splinter groups that developed more normal language, and that's how the computer knows the story.
Could be. They could be
And
talking
they
about.
listened.
They're talking about how Tanagra was an island continent on Chantal 3. Does that mean that the Temerians have been spacefaring for many, millennia in order for these characters to take a place in mytho-history?
Sounds feasible to me. I mean, they're quite advanced.
Almost, or perhaps an ancient... If they were ancient spacefarers, say, along the same veins as the Bajorans, we could have... I mean, I'm not sure how likely this would be, but they could have been sort of involved in this, I guess what you could call an age of glory, in which they sort of roamed the galaxy and did trying to, make names for themselves.
That's a good example for it, right? Like, look at our own knowledge of Greek mythology and Roman mythology, right? That's not all that long ago, but we have very fragmented stories for things. We have some things only because Pliny the Elder heard it from so-and-so, who heard it from so-and-so, and that's now how we know this story, right? So, like, the fables of Hercules, we're missing a ton, right? Mm-hmm. But we know what we know.
Ashley Judd.
I like the eye roll that they just gave each other when Riker was like, I want him out of there. They cut to engineering and she's like eye rolling with Geordi. I wonder how often that happens.
Engineers eye roll at the right times.
I like when they see the rocks are coming down the mountain and he finally takes the knife from Dathan, and they're both going to fight the avalanche with knives.
Okay,
listen.
Stand by, Mr. O'Brien. Yeah, I've been standing by for fucking ever.
This is my job. Haven't you read the comic?
Like...
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Run.
I've seen Predator. I know how this works. Run. Sad.
I'm here. Do it. Kill me now. I'm here.
Get to the Shaka.
That's the title right there.
Get to the Shaka.
That's your title.
How many episodes is she in?
3 or 4.
She's in the game.
Yeah, that's the last time she leaves.
She's great in the beta canon stuff. She does a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. There's a movement online to get her in Picard Season 2 as Captain Robin Leffler.
I like that.
Oh. Go, Chief.
Lieutenant. 2 pips.
Yeah, I know, but then it's he's an enlisted man.
He's a working man.
Yeah, they just didn't have... They didn't have pips for that back then.
Well, because everybody was a Starfleet officer, according to... Oh.
A trap.
Yep.
Start me with fists closed. Patience and imagination. There's Chekhov's gun.
His eyes uncovered.
Oh, there's the shirt rip.
Now he really is the Picard of the show.
And now this really is where we see the ground and pound.
Well, we know that these can't really be hurting him that much because the monster's not using the double hammer fist.
Yeah, but I've got to give the monster credit though. He's in full mount. The ground game is very strong for this monster.
He has the high ground.
Ooh, their blood is white. That's kind of cool.
Put him back. Damn.
Yeah. It's like they were able to borrow a Styracosaurus skull from the local museum and just attach it to this guy who's wearing like a sweatsuit.
You're about to have some kind of transporter accident with your captain, and that's not going to be good on your resume, O'Brien.
Oh no, he's 12 years old again. Oops. Get me that Pulaski hair. We'll fix
It
this.
rises.
Somehow he's now a synth.
Now, so the monster's done the walk off, and on the next sound stage, the monster's doing the ending from the Incredible Hulk, where he's just hitchhiking down the road because his job here is done.
He shows up at the house on Elm Street to pull Nancy's mother through the door and take off in the...
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Dr. Crusher. We haven't seen you at all.
Yeah.
Somebody say patience.
There it is.
Polarity coil generator. Oh,
I agree.
Sorry.
I see Puppy is passionate about polarity coils.
So that's one vote for polarity field generator.
You don't have to do this. Like, you're not a, like Aaron said, not a warship. Let the cultural exchange and trial commence. Like, haven't y'all been through this enough? Like, you know that this is part of, like...
To play devil's advocate, though, the last time their captain was kidnapped like this was either Gull Madrid or it was the Borg. So both of those times trying to get their captain back was the right call.
So Gul Madrid doesn't happen for another season.
Oh, is that next season? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then the Borg.
Yeah. This is like that sequence where he's trying to explain how Riva speaks, and he just starts speaking in faster and faster and faster sign language. And he's just like, Data, I don't need to know. I just need you to be able to talk to them. Get out there. Go.
They think in memes.
Yeah, this is the logical conclusion to a society that's absolutely steeped in social media. Is 1,000 years later, you can only communicate with memes. You know, you just walk into a restaurant, you look at the guy behind the counter and go, "Mlem,"
Ma'am.
and then they give you food.
No, it's Icon has cheeseburger.
Oh, that's a better one, yeah.
I think I would like to play, like, one of these in one of the campaigns.
A Temerian?
I think that would be awesome.
If you look it up, in Star Trek Beta Canon, there is a Temerian engineer that worked on the Titan. So there might be some examples of how he spoke or that character spoke there.
And they start to incorporate, Starfleet
Memes.
myth heroes like
Kirk
so,
and the Gorn on Cestus.
or like you ask the Temerian engineer like how long it's gonna take something, and he just shakes his head and go, "Scotty, his estimates inflated." Just like,
Or Koloth and Kang with Dax.
ooh, nice.
Tell me more. Temba Darmok. Temba Demba. He almost sounds like, is it Peter Cullen who plays Optimus Prime? Darmok on the ocean. Temerians, roll out.
Now I just think about Optimus Prime looking at like a human and going, Megatron at Hoover Dam with Energon cubes. It's just like...
A great show.
Fantastic.
Bumblebee with the radio tuned to 98.9. So what was on the radio at that point? I don't know.
He actually reminds me a lot of Chad Coleman from The Expanse, the guy who played Fred Johnson.
Have we mentioned that this actor has been in Star Trek before?
We haven't mentioned it, but that's true.
It's been 9 years by this point, because this episode aired in 1991, and it was May of 1982.
Yeah, he
that
was the captain of the Reliant.
Yeah.
Captain Terrell, I think.
Terrell.
Correct. He got an earworm, and suddenly he speaks meme.
His hair fell out, too.
Done. So this is what happens when you shoot yourself with a phaser.
You get transported to another universe and you're an alien.
Woo! Life dream.
It's the same universe, but...
I do not advocate for shooting yourself with a phaser. It's a bad thing.
I mean...
Maybe on light stungs you get that like heat tingling feeling, but otherwise no.
And, is... Paul Winfield is the man's name.
Now, do we think that the beast at Tanagra was a physical beast, or was it like just their inability to communicate was the beast that they slayed?
I think the beast was a physical thing, but it has become symbolic for a problem to be overcome.
That works.
Yeah, I think it's any shared adversity.
Well, and a beast represents a very critical adversity. It's not just they had to cross a bridge or a stream. It's they both had to fight together for their lives. And then they sailed away together on the ocean as friends. It's like that time I met my best friend in 6th grade when we were just slinging insults about each other's mothers. And then like, hey, you want to have dinner? We were friends for like a solid 8 months because that's how long friendship lasts when you're 12. Nah, we knew, man. That's Jerry in a suit. He's just, walking around with like phased polarizers. You stab him and it hurts because metal's conductive. That's a glorious moment right there. Kira Edbashi, tell that story. Temba, his arm's wife. Give it to me. Give me a story of your own.
Yeah. This part is like particularly hard to like mock in any way because it's so well done. It's just like so.
I mean,
that's the challenge of these kinds of episodes. Is
if we wanted to do Rifftreks for an episode that was easy to make fun of, we could have done Threshold, right? Like, this is an episode that's a challenge to make fun of.
That's true.
If you watch.
Okay, I've got one. If he wanted to hear a story, could have said like Jed and the Clampets in Beverly Hills.
Optimus Prime in Truck 4.
Oh.
Luke, a moisture fiber from Tatooine.
Ooh.
Luke, his power converter's low.
Luke, his father a Sith.
Obi-Wan with the high ground.
Han Solo in the carbonite. It would be
Wicket
hilarious
with a speeder
if
bike
he was
on
just
Endor.
trolling him this whole time. Like, I actually understand everything you're saying, but
As soon as they're ready.
It's just like, I told you. He's just like taps his communicator. I told you I get them to say it. I told you.
I mean, just think of how impressive it is that the universal translator is even able to get the grammar across and the words across, even if they can't figure out what the meaning of things is. It's still very impressive.
Yeah. Thank you, Hoshi Sato.
Yeah, but then the next thing out of Dathon's mouth is like, "Good. We've been trying to reach you about your car warranty."
Car's extended warranty.
And the Enterprise is coming up on the end of its warranty. Would you like to extend it for another 6 years?
Or a
Wait.
new lease on this new car instead.
Picard at Viridian 3. Damn, shouldn't have extended the warranty.
Honestly, I'm surprised that he chose Gilgamesh as his example for this, because he loves Shakespeare so much. He could have gone with something from there. Chang would have. If Chang had met these people, he'd be fucking quoting Macbeth at them.
Yeah, and Dathon would still be saying, "I'd give real money if he'd shut up."
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
McCoy with real money. Chang silent.
I've often thought about what the entity's motivations were for attacking them, and I've come to conclude that it's probably just a territorial thing, because it's clearly not after them for food, and they're not really a threat to it. So
Right
maybe it just doesn't like anything.
Right about now, Smokey the Bear's going to show up and be like, "What? Now you're littering? Get this body out of here, Picard!"
Yeah, the bears are going to eat it. That'll ruin their stomachs.
And you're just going to have to come back next week and feed them again, because
His shirt may be ripped, but his jacket still looks great.
It is flawless.
the Styracosaurus is like, swole abs, Picard.
He's just like, he cut the stomach just because he wants to give Captain Picard a raspberry. Oh. Worf gets to do the thing.
Whee!
So
There's got to be like a transporter room, one deck down.
Federation phases are extremely precise, they're extremely accurate, and they can be calibrated to a wide variety of uses and applications. When they tracked the entity the first time and it went away, why not just shoot it from orbit?
Because it's a life form, man. It deserves to exist.
It might violate the Prime Directive, he's right. This thing's clocking the Enterprise.
Yeah, just slapping them around.
They should have used hand-to-hand combat as their focus when firing phasers.
No. Helm should have used escape and avoidance.
Marab, his sails unfurled.
He's telling him to shut up. I love that. We have done the thing. We did it. Data's like, damn it, I wanted to be the one to figure it out. Yay, they're buddies now. Woohoo! So the Beast Lord Dathon to his death.
The Temerian equivalent of pouring one out.
Well, they did pull out their knives for a second there, so that's definitely got some ritualistic meaning to it.
We're not changelings. Picard's like, I said that 5 minutes ago, dude. You and me, right here. And then this first officer's just like, deuces, I'm out. We good, fam.
Nah, you keep it. He wanted you to have it.
Still, you gotta love it. First contact, they get languages across, their ship gets its ass kicked. It's overall a solid meeting.
And we never talk about it again.
Just such a sad thing. This would have been a good race to bring back.
Yeah. I can totally see how in today's era, this episode could have been a full, solid season of like 10 episodes, where you've got Picard and this alien on this planet trying to figure out and really extend those scenes of communication, where like by episode 7, they're conversing just fine, and in space, they're like dueling to the death.
There's, I get a real Enemy Mine vibe off this episode every time I watch it.
Dude, Enemy
Honestly,
Mine, callback.
Yeah. This reminds me a lot of that episode from the Orville with the upvotes and downvotes, where it just takes like a social thing and applies it to like foreign relations or government, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, exchange mythologies. That'll help communications.
Jason on the ocean. Jason with the golden fleece. Medusa fucking all of them up.
Theseus on his ship. Or is it?
The ship of Theseus. If we just replace all the parts, are we good?
Odysseus, murdering party guests.
Odysseus' dog. Dude, the fuck.
The Narrows between Scylla and Charybdis. The men, dead.
Fry's dog in 1999.
No. No. Oh my god.
You don't want us crying on camera, Dag. That's
please,
bad.
Yeah, please don't reference that. That breaks my heart.
And of
to
course,
this
this wonderful outgoing shot of Picard honoring the loss of Dathan outside the window of the Enterprise. And we don't get a lot of shots like this, where the Enterprise exterior outside of 10 forward, but pretty cool.
Awesome.
All right, so I really want to give that like 8 energy beasts out of 10 as like top tier TNG goes.
I would probably give that 9 Darmoks
At Tanagra?
at Tanagra.
Because 10 Nagra. Yeah, I got you, fam.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a 9 Temerian Deep Space Cruisers out of 10 Galaxy class ships for me.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice, yeah.
Watney?
And I would say it's probably 8. No, Mr. Worfs.
That's probably true.
That's probably an accurate ratio.
Yeah.
8
That's
out of
good.
10. 8 out of 10 suggestions
good.
end in no.
I feel like as I watch TNG now, it almost looks more and more like TOS to me. Like the aspect ratio of how it's shot, the lighting, the costuming, the narratives, the storytelling, the drama, like the pacing. It's all very similar to me now as the original series.
Well, think of it this way, right? The same way, so I've had friends that I've tried to get to watch TOS, and one of the things I always warn them of is you're gonna guess the ending of every episode because you've already seen it. It has been made a trope. Every TOS episode is basically a trope now, right? As TNG gets older, we're seeing those same things happen. TNG episodes have become tropes because other shows are reusing those same concepts now, 20, 30 years later. So the same thing happens here, and I think that that's perfectly cool.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying necessarily good or bad. I'm just saying I think like from the sets on the exterior, like we're used to like holographic displays now and Discovery and etc. So like seeing physical surfaces that someone has to touch.
You mean you gotta use your
like,
hands?
It's more like TOS than it isn't.
It's true though. True though. With
And the
TOS,
sets,
we were
the
like
carpet, like
TOS, we were like
up, man,
buttons.
like,
I don't want
gotta
to use
vacuum
buttons.
the bridge.
The Enterprise warp 9.6 with shag carpet.
But
The Enterprise, not a
Picard.
fuse in sight.
His shirt
Just
ripped.
broken consoles.
see, but with like 1,000 people on the Enterprise, you're not really going to run into anybody. It's surprising. Like, if they do another digital remastering of the Enterprise, it would be so great if they just had like Roombas everywhere. Just everywhere on every floor, always underfoot because they're always cleaning, even though there's like 3 people that live on every
Exocomms.
deck.
What if the
Exocomms to clean stuff.
Yeah.
what if the decks just did like, you know, locked out certain sections and did a little, you know, localized baryon sweep to just atomize all the dust and particulate matter.
Computer, put level 10 force fields between section 2 and 3 on this deck. Baryon sweep. Zzz. All those
Perfectly.
skin cells that floated into the area just gone.
Oh.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining me for this latest episode in the Rifftreks vein of things. I hope we get to do another one soon. If you want to call out where anybody can find you on the internet to either appreciate your work here or cuss you out, because that's what I'm used to, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can get me on socials. It's at Panorama Tint. It's just one string of characters.
Yep, you can hit me up on Reddit at Hawkshark, no space, no nothing in between, just Hawkshark.
Reddit. Nice. I stream sometimes at Doc Watney on Twitch, so check me out there, I guess.
And as always, you can find me on Twitter at Trek Nexus, and you can find the podcast at Beyond Trek Pod. Yeah, I think that's everything, y'all. Cheers.
Bye.
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your ears. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.